5.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and
All right,
do
we're
not
live.
express the views
Perfect.
of WDDF ownership or Hometown Talk Radio. Content aired on all programs are those of the host and their guests.
Okay, let's see. 2:34. Okay.
It's time for Middleboro Matters on WDBF 1530 AM and 99.7 FM. Hosted by Joey Driscoll. Call in at 508-822-1106. And now, here's Joey Driscoll with Middleboro Matters.
And good morning and welcome to Middleboro Matters. I am Joey Driscoll. Today is the 6th of October, 2025. I want to say good morning to anyone who's listening on YouTube this morning. I do live streaming on either YouTube or Facebook. Now it's going to be YouTube. I am no longer going to be live streaming on Facebook, and that goes for Middleboro Review as well. But I have a Middleboro Review YouTube page, Middleboro Matters YouTube page as well, that I will be live streaming the shows from on YouTube instead of Facebook going forward. Anyway, we have a lot to get to today, and two big events to get to today. We're going to go over town meeting in Middleboro. I did that on Friday. I went over all of the articles on Friday on Hometown Talk, the Friday edition of Hometown Talk. But if you missed that and are tuning in today for Middleboro Matters, we'll be going over that again. And if you're in Middleboro and want to know what will be on the special town meeting docket for today, I will be talking about that on the show today. Special town meeting for Middleboro is tonight at 7 p.m. at 71 East Grove Street at Middleboro High School in the Wayne M. Karen Auditorium of the high school. So that's coming up tonight at 7 p.m. Also coming up tonight is the Taunton Community Info session. We invite you to join us for a discussion about sharps, kiosks, and other harm reduction solutions coming soon. The event will take place from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. this evening at the Taunton Public Library Auditorium at 12 Pleasant Street, and that is in Taunton. So we have those big events coming up today. Some other big events coming up this week is the Taunton Lodge of Elks 150, honoring all those who served or currently serve. Monthly lunches for veterans is taking place the third Wednesday of each month. Lunch is served at noon. The next lunch will be the 15th of October, which is going to be coming up, not this upcoming Wednesday, but the next Wednesday. And that's located at the Taunton Lodge of Elks 150 at the Miles Standish Industrial Park, 775 John Quincy Adams Road in Taunton. The number to contact, 508-824-1500, 508-824-1500, or you can email mail@tauntonelks.org, mail@tauntonelks.org. If you want to know any more information about that. We also have a couple of open houses for fire stations in the area. We're going to talk about that today as well. October is Fire Prevention Month, so we're going to be talking a lot about that. One other thing I want to mention, a couple other things I want to mention here before we take our first commercial break is the Church Green Farmers Market. Enjoy locally grown produce, refreshments, and other products And that's at the First Parish Church in downtown Taunton every Sunday, 9 a.m. to noon through the 2nd of November. And for more information, you can contact CGFM Manager at firstparishtaunton.org. That is CGFM Manager at firstparishtaunton.org, or call 508-822-2107 is the number there. That's 11:15. Let's take our first commercial break right now. When we come back, we'll have a little bit of sports to talk about here. I got some thoughts about yesterday's game and what a game it was yesterday. So we'll talk about that. I also will again be going over the Middleboro town meeting as well. So stay tuned for that. Let's take a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump facing opposition, both political and judicial, his drive to tamp down crime in some American cities.
The president authorized the deployment of 300 Illinois National Guard troops to protect federal officers and assets in Chicago. Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker denounced the move, calling it unnecessary and a manufactured performance. Meanwhile, a federal judge temporarily blocked the president's plans to mobilize 200 Guard troops in Portland, Oregon, ruling that the city's protests did not justify the use of federalized forces. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Tomorrow marks a somber anniversary in Israel, 2 years since the brutal Hamas terror attack on civilians that ignited the war in Gaza. Israeli and Hamas negotiators holding indirect talks today in Egypt.
At the heart of this is the release of the hostages living and dead, ceasefire, freeze, the release of Palestinian detainees in Israeli prisons, certainly the disarmament of Hamas, the reconstruction of Gaza, the control of Gaza. All of those issues are wrapped into this plan.
Our military affairs analyst, retired Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis. President Trump urging Senate Democrats to sign on to a GOP stopgap spending bill to end the government shutdown. House Speaker Mike Johnson notes there will be another vote in the Senate later today.
The House did its job. We passed our bill. We did the job to keep the government open, and now it's on the Senate Democrat.
So far, those Democrats have refused to end the shutdown, which the president says is resulting in layoffs. The government shutdown now in its 6th day. On Wall Street this morning, stocks are mixed. Dow trading about 98 points lower, while the Nasdaq is 98 points higher, and the S&P better by 16. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Mike Gallagher, host of the Mike Gallagher Show. I don't mess around when it comes to saving your money. Right now, rates have dropped to the lowest level in over a year and a half. That means if you bought your home or refinanced in the last 3 years, you could be saving hundreds of dollars every month. Lower your rate, lower your monthly payment, even kick that pesky PMI to the curb. And get this, you could skip 2 full months of mortgage payments. But that's not all. Fellowship Home Loans just rolled out something incredible. Their very own HELOC and lines of credit. Approval in just 5 minutes. Money in your account in as little as 4 days. It's the easiest system you've ever used. You can do it yourself online. Whether you want to pay off bills, tackle a home project, cover education, or even a wedding, Fellowship Home Loans makes it simple to leverage the money that's already sitting in your house. Just go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending guided by the book.
Nationwide mortgage records, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
A snowstorm has struck hundreds of hikers on Mount Everest during China's national holiday, making it a very busy time on the mountain.
Chinese state media reported late Sunday that about 350 hikers had reached the meeting point while helpers are in contact with another 400 hikers who were tracked at camp at an elevation of over 16,000 feet. Villages with their oxen and horses have ascended the ridge as part of rescue efforts amid the heavy snow. They're aiming to clear paths and bring down the trapped people. A hiker who managed to descend told the Jinmun News that the snowfall had crushed some tents. The snowstorm struck during a national holiday in China, where many people go travelling. There's been no immediate update on rescue efforts so far on Monday. I'm Charles Rivesma.
Hundreds of thousands of people across several European cities have marched in support of Palestinians and the flotilla's attempt to reach Gaza. Townhall.com. Flag football has come of age.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell says the league plans to launch women's and men's professional flag football leagues in the next couple of years. The timeline outlined by Goodell at the Leaders in Sport conference in London would see the leagues created ahead of the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics, which will feature flag football for the first time. The league has prioritized flag football as a way to attract young fans. Goodell says, quote, "The demand is there," end quote, at the stateside college and international university level. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
On the first day of its new term, the Supreme Court has rejected an appeal from Ghislaine Maxwell, the imprisoned ex-girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein. Lawyers for Maxwell argued she never should have been tried or convicted for a role in luring teen girls to be abused by Epstein. Maxwell serving a 20-year sentence. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Hi neighbor, Middleboro Gas and Electric would like to show you a quick safety tip with you. Whether you're planting shrubs or putting in a new mailbox, DigSafe will help locate underground pipes and wires on your property and mark them to help prevent any damage. Before you dig, you must call 811 for any project that requires digging, drilling, excavating, grading, or trenching. A damaged gas line may create an explosion hazard that could result in loss of service, severe property damage, or worse. Don't take a chance. Call 811 before you dig.
Okay. Let's see. 278.
Hi, I'm Chris Keach of the Morning Wake Up News here at WBBM. My good friend Joey Driscoll has an amazing program all about Middleboro Sunday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. It's called Middleboro in Review. He talks about sports. He talks about local events in Middleboro and anything of interest in Middleboro and beyond. So join him, Middleboro in Review with Joey Driscoll, Sunday morning, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. only here at AM 1530 WBBF and at 99.7 FM.
It's 235. No, that's the promo. I don't want that. 36. There we go. And we're back to turn down the bumper music. There we go. It is 11:22 a.m. If you want to check out the show and see my face while I'm doing the show here, go to Middleboro Review YouTube page. I'm live on YouTube right now. No longer will be live on Facebook for the time being. I am just kind of burnt out on some of the changes that Facebook has made to their live streaming. So YouTube's a little bit easier to do the live streaming on. So I'll be doing Middleboro Matters, Middleboro Review, anything else that I do on the YouTube live streaming going forward. Anyway, moving on to the Patriots here. What a game last night. The Patriots pick up a major win, probably the biggest win post Tom Brady, Bill Belichick era. A huge win last night against the Bills. The Bills are no longer undefeated. There are no longer any undefeated teams in the NFL. And it's pretty early. It's only week 5. So that's interesting. There's been a lot of interesting results in the first 5 weeks here, and we're not done. We're not done. Tonight is one more game. It's the Chiefs and the Jaguars tonight. We'll see how that game goes. The Chiefs have kind of struggled here and there so far to begin the year, but we'll see what happens in that game tonight. But the big game yesterday, Sunday Night Football, which is the first time in a little bit that the Patriots have been in a Sunday Night Football game. This was a big game. And I've been saying all week, the Patriots were able to keep this close, that I would feel good about this game. I would feel good about this game. I'd feel good about the season, regardless of the results. But the Patriots shocked everybody, a lot of people, with a win yesterday, a game-winning field goal in front of Orchard Park. Going to Orchard Park, getting that upset victory. Now the next 4 or 5 games looks even better for the New England Patriots coming out of this game. A game-winning field goal by our kicker, who has been, spotty for us so far this year, but he came in clutch when we needed him, and that's the important part about this is we have a kicker that it seems like we can rely on in very, very big situations. And last night was a very big situation, and he got the job done. A 52-yard field goal, I believe it was, right down the middle, and the Patriots walk away with a 23-20 victory. Stephon Diggs back in Buffalo, and he went off in this game. Almost 150 yards altogether. It really just an amazing performance by Stephon Diggs. If he can continue doing this week in and week out, the Patriots are going to become very, very dangerous. Christian Gonzalez did some really good things on defense as well. Christian Gonzalez is the real deal as well. And the defense, too. The defense was very suffocating to the Bills, to Josh Allen, and I feel very good about that. Some of the things we got to kind of clean up, I think, is the penalties. The penalties continue to be an issue for the team. We had some pretty big penalties that could have cost us the game, and we have to clean that up. That is a big thing that we have to clean up. Also, the fumbles. The fumbles continue to be an issue, and that is not going to be a recipe for success if that continues. So they got to clean that up too. But all around, a pretty good game for the New England Patriots. Victory, a surprising victory, and this bodes very, very well for the next couple of games for sure. Yes, the Saints did pick up a huge victory against the Giants. By the way, not a good weekend for New York sports fans at all. The Yankees lost twice. The Yankees are down 2-0 on the Blue Jays. Then you had both of your MLS teams lose this weekend as well. And then, of course, the Giants and the Jets with pathetic performances against the Saints and the Cowboys. So, not a good week for New York sports fans, for sure. Yankees could be bounced out of the playoffs as soon as tomorrow. We'll have to see what happens going forward in this series. And the Giants and the Jets, their season is practically over at this point. And we're only into week 6. So that's not good. That's not good at all. And when it comes to New York FC and the Red Bulls, I don't know too much about how they're doing this season, but again, they both lost this weekend as well. But for the Patriots, real quick, what is going to be going on for the Patriots going forward? Well, you have the Saints, who again did pick up that huge victory against the Giants this week. They have a game at 1 p.m. This was, I believe, supposed to be a later game, but it was flexed to 1 o'clock. So there's that. Then you have the Titans, who are, I believe, still. I think they won. I think they won a game recently, so I don't think they're undefeated anymore. Not undefeated, winless anymore. I apologize. But still, they're definitely struggling. You got the Browns, who their quarterback situation is terrible. And then you have the Falcons, who are mediocre. And then the next tough game is Tampa Bay. That's the next tough game on the schedule. So you have 4 games that are winnable games in the next couple of weeks here. If the Patriots are serious about making the playoffs, you're going to win all 4 games. These games, it's important. You're going to win all 4 games. You got to be 7-2 going into that Tampa game. That is going to be extremely important because that's a tough game. And then after that game, you have the Jets, the Bengals, and the Giants. Depending on what is happening with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow could be back by late November. He could not be. I don't know what's going on injury-wise with him. It seems like he was going to be out for a good portion of the season. So he could be back by this game. If not, this is a game that's going to be kind of easy as well. So we'll start to see what happens there. And then we take on the Bills again in Foxborough in mid-December. And then down the stretch, you have the Ravens who, depending on how the rest of their season goes, so far, 1-4, not good so far for them at all. I don't know what happened to the Baltimore Ravens. So depending on what happens the rest of the way for the Ravens, I mean, it's not going to be an easy game per se, but it could be an easier game than we expect. And then you had the Jets and the Dolphins to end the year as well, which are pretty easy games, all things considered, other than them being rivalry games there. All right, it's 11:31. Let's take our news break, and we'll be right back here on Middleboro Matters. I am Joey Driscoll. You're listening to WVBF 1530 AM, 99.7 FM.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. Anna Chalison. President Trump facing opposition, both political and judicial. His drive to tamp down crime in some American cities.
President authorized the deployment of 300 Illinois National Guard troops to protect federal officers and assets in Chicago. Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker denounced the move, calling it unnecessary and a manufactured performance. Meanwhile, a federal judge temporarily blocked the president's plans to mobilize 200 Guard troops in Portland, Oregon, ruling that the city's protests did not justify the use of federalized forces. Ray Clugston, Washington.
Tomorrow marks a somber anniversary in Israel, 2 years since the brutal Hamas terror attack on civilians that ignited the war in Gaza. Israeli and Hamas negotiators holding indirect talks today in Egypt.
At the heart of this is the release of the hostages, living and dead, ceasefire, freeze, the release of Palestinian detainees in Israeli prisons, certainly the disarmament of Hamas, the reconstruction of Gaza, the control of Gaza. All of those issues are wrapped into this plan.
Our military affairs analyst, retired Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis. President Trump urging Senate Democrats to sign on to a GOP stopgap spending bill to end the government shutdown. House Speaker Mike Johnson notes there will be another vote in the Senate later today.
The House did its job. We passed our bill. We did the job. job to keep the government open, and now it's on the Senate Democrat.
So far, those Democrats have refused to end the shutdown, which the president says is resulting in layoffs. The government shutdown now in its sixth day. On Wall Street this morning, stocks are mixed. Dow trading about 98 points lower, while the Nasdaq is 98 points higher, and the S&P better by 16. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, it's Mike Gallagher, host of the Mike Gallagher Show. I don't mess around when it comes to saving you money. Right now, rates have dropped to the lowest level in over a year and a half. That means if you bought your home or refinanced in the last 3 years, you could be saving hundreds of dollars every month. Lower your rate, lower your monthly payment, even kick that pesky PMI to the curb. And get this, you can skip 2 full months of mortgage payments. But that's not all. Fellowship Home Loans just rolled out something incredible. Their very own HELOC and lines of credit. Approval in just 5 minutes. Money in your account in as little as 4 days. It's the easiest system you've ever used. You can do it yourself online. Whether you want to pay off bills, tackle a home project, cover education, or even a wedding, Fellowship Home Loans makes it simple to leverage the money that's already sitting in your house. Just go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending guided by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Lenders, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
A snowstorm has trapped hundreds of hikers on Mount Everest during China's national holiday, making it a very busy time on the mountain.
Chinese state media reported late Sunday that about 350 hikers had reached a meeting point, while helpers are in contact with another 200 hikers who were trapped at camps at an elevation of over 16,000 feet. Villagers with their oxen and horses have ascended the mountain as part of rescue efforts amidst the heavy snow. They're aiming to clear paths and bring down the trapped people. A hiker who managed to descend told the Jimun News that the snowfall had crushed some tents. The snowstorm struck during a national holiday in China, where many people go traveling. There's been no immediate update on rescue efforts so far on Monday. I'm Charles Fullervesma.
Hundreds of thousands of people across several European cities have marched in support of Palestinians and a flotilla's attempt to reach Gaza. Townhall.com. Flag football has come of age.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell says the league plans to launch women's and men's professional flag football leagues in the next couple of years. The timeline outlined by Goodell at the Leaders in Sport conference in London would see the leagues created ahead of the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics, which will feature flag football for the first time. The league has prioritized flag football as a way to attract young fans. Goodell says, quote, "The demand is there," end quote, at the stateside college and international university level. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
On the first day of its new term, the Supreme Court has rejected an appeal from Ghislaine Maxwell, who imprisoned ex-girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein. Lawyers for Maxwell argued she never should have been tried or convicted for her role in luring teen girls to be abused by Epstein. Maxwell serving a 20-year sentence. More on these stories, townhall.com.
And we're back here on Middleboro Matters. I am Joey Driscoll. Today is the 6th of October, 2025. Tonight is special town meeting in Middleboro. Again, it'll take place at 7 p.m. at the Middleboro High School auditorium, the Wayne M. Karen auditorium there at Middleboro High School. And I'm going to go over the articles that, if you're going to be going to town meeting, special town meeting this evening, that you'll expect to see on the special town meeting tonight. There are 15 of them. I'm going to go over them all right now. Starting with Article 1. Article 1 is an annual article that allows the reading of reports by town officers and town committees and the acceptance of the annual town report or to appoint any committee. Article number 2 is an OPEB transfer. With this article, the town is transferring money from free cash that's to be placed into the OPEB Other Post-Employee Benefits Trust Fund. This fund has been set up to offset future retiree health costs. The current balance in the trust fund is a little over $4.5 million. That's sponsored by town manager. Amount that will be voted on is $200,000. Funding type is free cash. Required vote of a majority. Article number 3, transfer from debt stabilization to fund BP assessment. With this article, the town is transferring $800,000 from the debt stabilization account to supplement the fiscal year 2026 unclassified budget for the Bristol Plymouth Regional Technical School assessment. Sponsored by the town manager, amount of $800,000. Debt stabilization is the funding type, required majority vote. Article number 4, IT department next phase of the MUNIS rollout. With this article, we are appropriating $225,592. There we go. From free cash to the IT department to fund the next phase of the MUNIS rollout, which will incorporate tax billing. Sponsored by the Information Technology. Majority vote is required there. Article number 5, town's municipal separate storm sewer system permit. With this article, the town is appropriating $104,600 to comply with the town's municipal separate storm sewer system permit. We'll be entering into year 7 of the permit in October, which is now. The tasks that must be met, including wet weather screening and sampling and drainage system mapping, written illicit detention program, public outreach and education, and employee training. This is sponsored by the Department of Public Works. Majority vote is needed there. Article 6, I&I Control Plan Project. With this article, we are appropriating $500,000 from sewer retained earnings to the sewer department for all related, relevant, and necessary expenses associated with the inflow and infiltration control plan. This appropriation supplements the just over $1 million ARPA investment for this project. This is sponsored by the wastewater department. A majority vote is needed there. Article 7, reevaluation update for the Board of Assessors and real and personal property. With this article, we are appropriating $138,620 from free cash for the purpose of a reevaluation update for the Board of Assessors of real and personal property for certification for 2027. Board of Assessors sponsors this. It is a majority required vote. Article 8, North Carver Water District MIA extension. The town of Middleboro supplies water to North Carver Water District due to a plant failure in Carver. This article authorizes the Middleboro Select Board to extend the emergency declaration for a year to continue to provide water until a permanent memorandum of understanding is completed. Sponsored by the Select Board, a majority vote is needed there. Article number 9, limited expansion of the sewer service map. Town is seeking a limited expansion of the sewer service map to allow for two new sewer services there, where Taco Bell and Pilgrim Junction multifamily housing projects are currently underway. The developer for those projects has agreed to fund the cost of the sewer interceptor, new water main at this location as well, in exchange for this limited expansion. This project will save ratepayers approximately $5 million. Sponsored by the select board, a majority vote is needed. TIF agreement with Indus is Article 10. The purpose of this article is to approve a 10-year tax increment finance agreement with Indus, who is proposing to relocate their corporate headquarters and manufacturing operations to Middleboro. Indus is one of the leading pavement restoration companies in the Northeast. The town does not lose any existing real estate tax revenue. This TIF will help the town remain competitive in attracting and retaining local businesses, providing both short and long-term benefits to the town and region. Indus is committed to not only partnering with the town to provide economic benefits, but is also dedicated to investing in and supporting our community. Sponsored by the select board, a majority vote is needed. Article 11, we've been talking about this article many, many times, and that is the school committee member change from 6 to 7 members. This article seeks to expand the Middleboro School Committee from 6 to 7 members. This change will be effective as of the 2026 election cycle, which will be in April. Sponsored by the school committee, a majority vote is needed for that. Article 12 is a housekeeping article. This article rescinds Article 12 of the October special town meeting, October 2024 special town meeting, which originally authorized an appropriation of $750,000 for the design and construction of the Middleboro skate park due to an error. This housekeeping item, Article 4 at the special town meeting in April 2025, correctly identified the parcels for this project and appropriated $750,000 for the Middleboro skate park. This is sponsored by the town manager. A majority vote needed on this one. Article 13, a 40R district expansion. This article seeks approval to expand the town's 40R district as identified in the town's lawsuit against the Commonwealth of Massachusetts regarding compliance with MBTA 3A Communities Act. This part of the lawsuit settlement, the town agreed as part of the lawsuit settlement. The town agreed to expand the 40R district, however, it will maintain local zoning control, including a site plan review. This is sponsored by the select board and the planning board. A majority vote is needed for this one. And we have 2 more here. Article 14, a site plan review. The purpose of the article to see if the town will vote to amend section 275-9.0-9.5 to add a new section 9.5 titled site plan review to require that new construction and additions to non-residential uses greater than 5,000 square feet and changes in use regardless of size be required to prepare site plans for review and approval by the planning board. This is prior to issuance of building permits, as shown on the proposed site plan review bylaw. Sponsored by the planning board, required vote of 2/3. And finally, Article 15, a citizens petition article to create a study committee. I move that the town create a study committee to draft petition language for a special act of the legislature per recommendation of town council to implement an independent water commission, building off of the research and recommendation of the water commission study committee. This new group will prepare article language in time to be voted on at the spring 2026 annual town meeting so we can keep Middleboro moving forward. This new study committee will have 3 members, is appointed by the town moderator, and will have a term expiring at the conclusion of the spring 2026 annual town meeting. Sponsored by citizens petition, a majority vote is required for this one. So there you go. There are all of the articles that will be on the Middleboro town meeting, special town meeting tonight at 7 p.m. at the Middleboro High School Wayne M. Karen Auditorium. Again, that is 7 p.m. this evening in Middleboro High School. All right, it is 11:48. We're going to take our last commercial break right now. When we come back, Going to finish the program by doing a little bit more sports and a little bit of transportation mixed in there as well. So we'll be right back here on WVBF 1530 AM 99.7 FM.
Many people have been taking on home improvements this year, but have you also upgraded your electrical safety system? Older homes, like so many in our area, have outdated breakers and wiring that may not meet the high-powered needs of modern technology. A licensed electrician knows all the code requirements, including the latest updates adopted just last year. You can find an easy-to-read summary of home upgrades to consider at energymedium.com.
Okay. 278.
Hi, I'm Chris Teach of the Morning Wake Up News here at WVBF. My good friend Joey Driscoll has an amazing program all about Middleboro Sunday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. It's called Middleboro in Review. He talks about sports. He talks about local events in Middleboro and anything of interest in Middleboro and beyond. So join him, Middleboro in Review, with Joey Driscoll, Sunday morning, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., only here at AM 1530 WVBF and at 99.7 FM.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah.
Do you think Alabama and Vanderbilt will meet again in the playoff?
Doubtful.
Doubtful.
There are a lot of good teams there.
Yeah, I would say it's doubtful. Vanderbilt's 20th now. Still ranked. So that was their first loss.
And they were lost on the road. So we'll see how they do against the rest of the league. It's going to be a tough job.
Yeah. 236. And we're back. It's 11:50 a.m. 11:51 a.m. now. We've got about 9 minutes left in the program today. We've got a little bit more sports to talk about. We've got college football to talk about. What I'll be doing here is I'm just going to go over the top 25 in the AP poll and kind of just give my reaction here. And we're going to start with Ohio State, who is number one, because, of course, they are. Undefeated. Took care of business in their last game, and they're still undefeated. 4-0 at home, 1-0 away. Again, 5-0. The top 7 teams are undefeated as well, by the way. Miami, probably the biggest surprise here, as we are, ending week 6 or week 6, I think it is, of the college football season. Beginning of the year, I don't know how many people would say that Miami would be second ranked coming into week 6, but there they are, second in the nation. Miami's been doing very, very well this year. Oregon has done very, very well as well. They are third ranked, but they have been pretty good for a while. Oregon has. So this, to me, is not as surprising as Miami. But I will say Ole Miss and Texas A&M being in the top 5 are very surprising to me. The way that Ole Miss and Texas A&M have played to begin the year has been amazing. You have Oklahoma is 6th place as well. So that's really good. They're undefeated. And then the last undefeated team there, before we talk about Alabama, the last undefeated team is Indiana. The Indiana Hoosiers there. Very, very good. Very, very good team. These top 7 teams are very, very good. We'll see what the rest of their schedules entail, especially with Ohio State, Miami, and Oregon. Those are the top three right now. And I think those will be the top three for a little bit. We'll see what happens going forward here. But Alabama made a statement this week. They made a statement. They got their revenge that they wanted to get against Vanderbilt, who's still ranked, by the way, after that loss. They're still ranked, and they should be. You know, that was their first loss of the year. It was in Alabama. They were not at home. They were in Tuscaloosa, and that was a tough loss for Vanderbilt. We'll see how Vanderbilt does going forward the rest of the way. See if they stay ranked, but a college football playoff, I don't think so for Vanderbilt. I don't think so for Vanderbilt. If they had wanted to get into the college football playoff, they would have had to win against Alabama, and they did not do that. But Alabama, 8th ranked, that's pretty good. 4-1 record, that's pretty good. We'll see how the rest of the way goes for Alabama. Then you have another Texas team in the top 10. You have Texas Tech, the Red Raiders. They're very, very good. Georgia rounds out the top 10. Then you have LSU in 11th spot. You have Tennessee in the 12th spot. You have Georgia Tech 13th. You have Missouri 14th. You have Michigan 15th. Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame, I question why they're here in the top 25. They're 3-2. They're a loss away from potentially not even making the college football playoff. They're on really thin ice, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Again, I don't know why they're ranked. Maybe their wins that they got were big wins, but still, 3-2 record. I'm seeing some of the other teams that are below them, and I feel like they should be above Notre Dame. Like BYU, they're 18th ranked. They're undefeated. And Memphis is 6-0, and they're 23rd. So, I don't think Notre Dame should be ranked. That's just my personal opinion on it. I don't think they should be ranked. Neither should Florida State. And I have a little less of a problem with this one. They're 3-2 and they're 25th ranked. Okay, if you put Notre Dame 24th, then I have a little bit less of a problem. But 16th, come on. I don't really like that ranking for Notre Dame. We'll see how the rest of the year goes for Notre Dame. Maybe they all of a sudden, are like 9-2 a few weeks from now. But really, the beginning of the season for Notre Dame has not been good. And same thing for Florida. The beginning of the season has not been good for them. Florida State, the Seminoles. Better than last year, obviously. Better than last year, which is probably why they're ranked. They're better than last year. They've gotten some pretty good wins here. So that's probably why they're ranked. But one more loss for either of those two teams, and they're out of the top 25. For sure. Vanderbilt, like I said, they're 20th. They're ranked. They got to try to win the rest of the way, or as many games as they can, or they will not be ranked anymore. So we'll see what happens there. Arizona State's also ranked. Iowa State's 22nd. Again, we talked about BYU. So there's your top 25. Very interesting top 25 there. All right, 11:57 a.m. here. Quick little update about what's going on with the MBTA. We have several things going on with the MBTA. We're just going to give kind of a quick update about what's going on with the commuter rail. For the Fall River New Bedford line, there is no service things going on with that, but a new fall-winter schedule for the line will go into effect on Monday, October 27th. The seasonal and on-time performance adjustments schedule for all lines. They're available on the MBTA.com app. So this is pretty much for all of them, I would say, October 27th. The Franklin Foxborough line is a service change there. And the service change is that the Franklin line 7:35 train there, 11:25 a.m. from South Station. That's operating about 15 minutes behind schedule there as well. They have a new line schedule, which went into effect on the 8th of September. And they have a couple of station access issues as well. Walpole, the mini high platform, will be closed for waterproofing work from Monday, October the 6th at 8 p.m. till Thursday, October the 9th at 8 a.m. Portable accessible lifts, those will be available. Franklin access issue as well. The mini high platform at Franklin, they'll be closed for waterproofing work as well. Monday, October 13th at 8 p.m. till Thursday, October 16th at 8 a.m. Also, portable access lifts will be available there in Franklin as well. Then we have the Greenbush line, and we don't have much going on with the Greenbush line. Other than, of course, the new schedule that will go into effect for all lines on October the 27th. But no service issues there with the Greenbush line. For the Kingston line, there's no service issues going on there either. And then we have the Providence Stoughton line, which will be the last one we're going to talk about here today. At Providence Station, to accommodate Providence Station renovations, construction barriers have been installed in the southern stairwell. But track 1 is out of service. Staircase access to track 3 and 5 are now open. In Attleboro, the inbound entrance for Attleboro Station is closed. Inbound access is unavailable via the stairs and accessibility ramp on Route 152 South Main Street. Access is detoured to stairs on Mill Street or the inbound parking area on Union Street. So there you go there. There is a delay for a Providence line train, 8:36, 11:12 a.m. from Providence. That's operating 15 minutes behind schedule between Attleboro and South Station. So there is your little update I like to give every couple of weeks of what's going on with the MBTA lines. There's a lot of work that gets done every couple of weeks, and I like to keep people informed on that during our transportation segments. But anyway, it's 12:01 p.m. here. We are going to say goodbye. Coming up next is Calvin Cares Radio Hour. It's going to be not a live program. It will be pre-recorded. But coming up is that, and we will be back next week for another edition of Middleboro Matters.
President Trump facing opposition, both political and judicial, his drive to tamp down crime in some American cities.
Authorized an appointment of 300 Illinois National Guard troops to protect federal officers and assets in Chicago. Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker denounced the move, calling it unnecessary and a manufactured performance. Meanwhile, a federal judge temporarily blocked the president's plans to mobilize 300 guard troops in Portland, Oregon, ruling that the city's protest did not justify the use of federalized forces. Ray Clunston, Washington.
Tomorrow marks the somber anniversary of Israel, 2 years since the brutal Hamas terror attack on civilians that ignited the war in Gaza. Israeli and Hamas negotiators holding indirect talks today in Egypt.
At the heart of this is the release of the hostages, living and dead, ceasefire, freeze, the release of Palestinian detainees in Israeli prisons, certainly the disarmament of Hamas, the reconstruction of Gaza, the control of Gaza. All of those issues are wrapped into this plan.
Our military affairs analyst, retired Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis. President Trump urging Senate Democrats to sign on to a GOP stopgap spending bill to end the government shutdown. House Speaker Mike Johnson notes there will be another vote in the Senate later today.
House did its job. We passed our bill. We did the job to keep the government open, and now it's on the Senate Democrat.
So far, those Democrats have refused to end the shutdown, which the president says is resulting in layoffs. The government shutdown now in its sixth day.
Let's see.
On Wall Street this morning, stocks are mixed. Dow trading about 98.
All right, we're gonna end the stream here.
Thank
Thank you everyone for tuning in today. This is what I'm going to be doing going forward. Is just going to be on the YouTube live going forward. I think it's just easier, and Facebook is becoming a pain to do. So this is easier. So I'm just be doing it this way. Next week's Middleboro Matters will be on the Middleboro Matters YouTube page. I just couldn't do it today for some reason. Wasn't letting me, but that should be all set for next week. So, yeah, we'll be on the Middleboro Matters YouTube page live streaming the show next week. I will be here for Sunday's program, Middleboro in Review, live streaming here on YouTube once again for that. Until then, I hope everyone has a great week, and bye-bye.
Nationwide mortgage records, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
A snowstorm